Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. We've been away a couple of weeks, but we're back with a bang because we've got 3 pods coming your way this week. This is the first, the Goodwood pods. We've got a special Galway podcast tomorrow at 11, and then Thursday at 11, we're back with Goodwood on the agenda for the remainder of that meeting. So this is the first 2 days of the Qatar Goodwood Festival, Glorious Goodwood, whatever you want to call it. It actually is going to be glorious weather this week as well, for once, given that last year it was rained off after the Stewards Cup. So looking forward to heading down there tomorrow, where I will be playing cricket with Steve Jones. As you can see, our producer has written down. I think we're opening the batting, which is frightening. Steve, welcome along, and welcome to Lee Gibson at Racing Lee, who is a newcomer to the podcast. Lee, how's things? I feel weird when I say this, but tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, look, I've got a podcast with a couple of the lads who are doing well at the minute, Harry Beard and Ash Simmons, and we do the Only Fools of Horses podcast, and so shout out to them. But yeah, look, ticking away nicely. I had a couple of good wins last week, and hopefully I'm going into good form as I go into Goodwood and Galway. But yeah, Goodwood focus. You're throwing us in at the deep end here, Tom.
Well, that's it. And I mean, you know, there's some tricky handicaps, and then maybe some not so open group races. So hopefully we found plenty of bets for you across the first couple of days of the Goodwood meeting. I mean, it looks that way. Reminder to like and subscribe and follow however or wherever you are listening, whatever is your preferred podcast platform, or however you watch all of what we normally do. Do like and subscribe. It's the best no-cost way of supporting the podcast. Okay. Day one, we're just going to go in chronological order. So we've got all the ITV races, so 8 in total. We'll have an any other bet section as well. First up, Steve and Lee agree in the Chesterfield Cup, traditionally the first race of the Qatar Goodwood Festival. 150. It's a tricky little 10 furlong handicap. But Lee, you can kick us off with Tony Montana.
Yeah, Tony Montana. I think the key form line is that John Smith's Cup from last time. The favourite Effinjaw has got a huge chance, but the eye catcher in the race was Tony Montana. Too far back probably to get in contention, stayed on well, steadily improving each run, had won for the Gosdens, has won a couple of races for Michael Bell, and went into that race in fair enough form. Disappointed Royal Ascot, but yeah, I just like the run of that John Smith's Cup. And the favourite got a £6 penalty. Tony Montana only nudged up £1 and gets a £5 swing for a 2 and a bit length defeat from the favourite. So yeah, Tony Montana, I'm happy to row in, and I'm glad to see Steve's on the boat as well.
Go on, Steve. What do you want to add?
Well, I wouldn't say that, man. You'll live to regret that over the weeks and months. But yeah, I very similar to Lee. I thought that run in the York race was excellent, and it surprised me that he was ridden so far back. And when I watched the race, it clearly wasn't by design, because he kept on getting shuffled back in early scrimmaging. And I'm sure that the jockey, who was Hector Crouch on that occasion, I think David Egan rides this time, and he clearly wasn't where he wanted to be, and he just was always trying to catch up, and Emsjar clearly got first run. I think the interesting thing with Tony Montana as well, he was gelded over the winter, or before he joined Michael Bell. I think he had 2 runs last season before he was after he was gelded. But that's clearly helped him improve. He won at Chester, won at Windsor, and then that was a clear personal best at York, having run below par over a mile and a half from a bad draw at Ascot. So he has got that progressive profile, and there's a reason for that progression. And I think he's going to get a fair bit closer to Tony Montana. Tony Montana's going to get closer to Emfjar, in fact. Something like that, anyway.
Agreement nonetheless. I'm going to stick with the horse that I put up at Ascot, who ran an absolute shocker, and that was Real Gain. I mean, the pace held up pretty well. He was up with the pace. I couldn't find necessarily any obvious excuses. He got all-weather form, which translates well to the straight course at Ascot. So I don't know what. Quick ground should have been okay. He's won on it before. The only thing was he was a bit too keen early, and that was just his second start of the season off a break. So he'd have been off a couple of months. I think they'd kept him fresh for the race. So he's off the back of that run. You could look at it and say he should be bigger than 8.0, but Wathnaan are pretty shrewd with the horses they pick up. I'd had this horse in my tracker off the back since the back end of September, where he hasn't won since. But I just thought that he looked like he was going to make it into a progressive horse. It's just the third start of his 4-year-old campaign. I'm not too worried about the draw in 10. A sort of double figure draw in the low teens is no bad thing here over this course and distance, as long as they don't dick around up top, which I don't think they will. So I'm going to chance him again, but it's more a sort of, I was quite strong on him at Ascot, and I wouldn't really want him to go and win here unbacked. And it was almost a bit of a too bad to be true run last time. So I'll stick with Real Gain. Okay, 225 is the Vintage Stakes. Not for me. I'm sitting this out. I'm sitting a few out on the day, to be honest. Steve, I'll come to you first of all. You're with the favourite. I assume he's favourite, Parthenon. Yes, 4.5.
Yeah, very boring, I know, going for the favourite. But this is a race that Aidan O'Brien didn't really target going back, but he's won it 3 times in the last 10 years, and he doesn't throw a huge amount of darts at it. And I always think with trainers like Aidan O'Brien, when they run a horse first time up in a Group 3, they generally realise what they've got. And although he was only 5th in that first time up, he was giving away experience to most of the field. And he was only beaten less than 2 lengths. And then since then, he won at Gowran up to 7 furlongs, which is what he wants. He's going to stay this horse. Even though he's by Kingman, he's going to have no problem with a mile. And I just think he sets the standard. So, not particularly exciting, but the Parthenon for me with Ryan Moore seems unbeatable at the moment. I just he's just riding way above everyone else. So, yeah, the Parthonian or whatever it's called.
Fucking hell, you'd said it right up until that point. The Parthonian Neon. Good luck with the Parthenon. Who are you with, Lee, and why?
Yeah, look, I'm against the Parthenon, to be honest. He's had 2 engagements recently and been a non-runner in both of them. I think he's somewhat of a false favourite. I just think, look, connections like Steve says with Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, and he's already put in his favourite. He was never best until the last day, like Steve mentioned. So, yeah, I just want to take on. I do like an Outlaw's Grace. Yeah, the Hannons won this race 4 times from 2010 onwards. They won it last year with Hartum. They do target the race well. And Outlaw's Grace won easily on debut at Salisbury there, and then went to the pre-Robert Pappan, the Group 2 at John Tilley, and ran a huge race, I thought, as well. Staying on in both them races. The last run, that Group 2, the winner had won a Group 3 prior to that, Arabi. The second was favourite for Royal Ascot race after winning at York. The form's strong enough, and I just think the step up to 7 furlongs from the 6. I think an Outlaw's Grace can do it again for the Hannons. And yeah, I'm happy to take on the favourite in this one.
All right, a couple of different shouts there in the Vintage. We move on to the Lennox. I'll let you kick off with Kinross at 4.5. Lee and I with the same horse at the same sort of price as well. But Steve, take it away.
Yeah, I just think Kinross should be a lot shorter in the betting. A horse that's won this race twice and probably should have won it 3 times. And his record over 7 furlongs is just, it's good. He's the best 7 furlong horse perhaps in the world on turf. And he probably doesn't get a lot of love because everyone's seen him before and seen him dozens of times before. But he has got the gears for 6 furlongs, but he's much better at 7. His run in the July Cup was a bit disappointing. He never got out of the rear that day, but I think the July course was riding as if you needed to be somewhere near the pace. And he wasn't anywhere near there. I think 7 furlongs these days, well, through his career has been what he wants. And I think he's nigh on unbeatable over 7 furlongs, and he loves the track. So I think he's just going to win. And I would have had him probably 7-4, whatever that relates, 2.75, something like that. So I'd have had him a lot shorter in the betting. I was quite surprised when it's pleasantly that he's that sort of price.
Yeah, I sort of wasn't out and out against. I think Ross Orion's a very able deputy to the man that rode this horse to a number of successes. You can have to ride him for a bit of luck, but he was only beaten a neck in 22, and he won it either side. My main angle, Lee, was that I wanted to back Noble Dynasty at the prices over English Oak, who may well be capable in this sort of grade. But I mean, the last time they met, Noble Dynasty gave him a beating and a stone, and when I looked last night, they were the same price. So there's lots of pace on. Noble Dynasty won't have it his own way, although he doesn't absolutely have to dominate. But I'm a fan of the horse. He's lightly raced for a 6-year-old. Quick ground's no problem whatsoever, and I think he'll suit here. I know he was well beaten in the mile a few years ago, but I don't think that's necessarily a true sort of. You can't say he doesn't like the track based upon that, because this is going to be a different test altogether, and this is exactly his distance on quick ground. So I'd much rather back him than English Oak anyway. What about you?
Yeah, exactly the same, Tom. It was a £15 weight difference for a 2-length beating of English Oak. English Oak's franked the form in no uncertain terms, but got to step up to match that off level weights now. I had it between Kinross and Noble Dynasty. I thought that was a solid performance last time out to beat Nostrum. And look, I think we'll sit up handy with the pace. Likes to be in the vanguard there, but with the likes of Audience, Pogo, Art Power, it's going to be strongly run. Hopefully, William Burke can sit and track in behind and a bit more tractable than what Kinross is. And hopefully he can just pounce. Noble Dynasty, I thought, was a fair price.
Cheltenham Exchange say good to see Lee on the podcast for the first time. Welcome along. Giles is back. Hi Giles, how are you? Afternoon. Long time no see, absolutely, or long time no hear, but welcome back. Let's move on. So 2 shots for Noble Dynasty in the Lennox, 1 for Kinross. The Goodwood Cup, I mean, I feel like we might all be seeing it out. On the document, Lee, you have written Kyprios. Do you make him a bet around about 1.5, or are you sitting on your hands?
I think the market leaders in the first 3 races have got huge chances. So if them go in, he's probably going to be a short price. Them multiples rolling up. Look, he's just the obvious winner. I couldn't see anything in behind, to be honest. They've all been beaten fair and square in that Gold Cup. Sweet William, Coltrane, Gregory, all got something to find against Kyprios. The strange one in there is Trushan. Will he take the ride on good ground? But bolted up in that listed race. But he's been disappointing since. It's just all about Kyprios, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Giles says Trushan, the one in the place market. There could well be a doubt come race time whether or not he absolutely lines up, but we'll see. He's probably not going to get his ground again, so there we are. Okay, that's us done as far as the previews with the ITV racing previews go. But we have got other bets for you. So, excuse me. First of all, we've got a few in this 410, and between us, we're putting up both the Quinn horses, Lord Ridderford and JM Jungle. Lee, you put Lord Ridderford on the document first of all. I interviewed John when he ran at Epsom, telling him that I'd back the horse, and he said, "Wait for Goodwood. He's a £10 better horse at Goodwood." So I thought, well, it'll be interesting to see if he does line up. He does. Holly Doyle rides because of the weight on board, 8.4. I think he'll go really, yeah. I mean, I've followed you in if you like, because you wrote it on the document, but I think the horse will go very, very well. He absolutely loves the track.
Yeah, look, he's got a huge chance to win it again. He's a multiple winner of the race, and it's all leads to this race, I suppose. Whatever he's done this season, I would kind of scrap, and like you say, he's much better here. This race is definitely going to be the target for him, and I just couldn't let him go again. Look, he's an old boy. He's getting on, 9 years young, and look, he's definitely one that I couldn't let slip away. So yeah, it's not a strong play, but hopefully he'll go in again and win this race for another time.
Steve, you like the other one in the race?
Yeah, I do. JM Jungle, who is also a course and distance winner at this meeting from last year. That was on soft ground, but he's certainly got no problems with faster ground. He'd won at Haydock before then on faster ground, and he went very, very close to winning a hot handicap at the Ebor Festival after that at York. He's a quick horse, this one, and he also had form behind Rasel and the Arecibo later in the season. This year, he's taken a little bit of time to find his form, but I don't think that's a bad thing because he's come down the weights and he ran as if he was running back into form last time at Curragh, so he went fourth. And I think another step forward at a track he knows. I think he's a big player. He's less than half the age of Lord Ridderford, who's obviously been lined up for it. I just wonder with Lord Ridderford, if the ground quickening up, he's always, and his old bones might just not fancy the faster ground. That was my worry with him, but he's obviously got a really good chance as well. But I'm on the other one, JM Jungle at a bigger price, who is, I think, 15.0, which I thought was quite, nice price.
And you got a few more?
Oh, I have, yeah. The Phillies handicap at 520. I like a horse called Cirque, who is a horse that hasn't been able to show her best until last time. She got caught in traffic at Newbury, and then at Southall, it didn't pan out. But last time at Newbury, up to a mile, I thought she looked really good, and she's I think more progressive. She has gone up the weights, but I think she's going to progress again. And Holly Doyle rides for Richard Hannon, which is never a bad thing. So yeah, Cirque in the 520, I thought was a good bet. And in the last race, I'm really interested in a horse of Mick Appleby's. This is another 5 furlong sprint, and this is it's 6 furlong sprint. And Kitai, who last season was pretty good for Charlie Johnson, but lost her form. And she went off hot favourite for this race, but she reared as the gates opened. And this year, she's had 3 starts for Mick Appleby, and they've all come with gaps between them. That she clearly hasn't. She's had some kind of issues, but she ran really, really well first time since March at Newmarket last time. She was on the wrong part of the track. She was a little bit slowly away, which she can be. But if she breaks on terms or near enough on terms, she's handicapped to go really well, Kitai. And she's a big price. I'm really keen on her.
Okay, so 3 extras. JM Jungle, Cirque and Kitai. Long shots for day one. It's Matchbook Zero long shot. Reminder, Matchbook Zero goes live at 10 a.m. each day. Win-only bets, but well worth doing if you're looking for a win-only bet, because the likelihood of you getting best odds is further enhanced by there being zero margin, zero commission on that part of the exchange. So check it out if you haven't already. Market live 10 a.m. each day. My Matchbook Zero long shot is Moon Spirit in the first of the Phillies handicaps at 520. She's progressing nicely. She's won her last 2. And she's top weight, but maybe that's putting some people off at the prices. But I think she even ran really well at Ascot in the hot race there a couple of starts ago. So quick ground's what she wants. She's progressing really well, and she's just about a double figure price. Steve, your long shot is?
Mine's Kitai, but top weight is an advantage. Top weight is an advantage, not a negative, Tommy. Don't fall into that trap. Kitai in the last.
I'm putting her up.
I know, but you sounded very negative, the fact that she was top weight.
Well, I just wonder if some people are thinking.
Well, they're wrong then, aren't they?
They are. Let's hope
Kitai, anyway, for the reasons I said about 3 minutes ago. Kitai in the last 5:55.
You know, honestly, how long is the first wicket stand going to last tomorrow at the Goodwood cricket match? With me and him opening. It could be. Oh, fuck, I'm going to run you out. Right.
I can't see the ball these days, and so you probably won't get the opportunity.
Lee, who's your long shot?
Tony Montana to open the Goodwood Festival, kicking off with a bang.
15.0. You're the only one with a lay. Are you laying Parthenon in a place just in the win market, Lee? 4.5.
For the win, I think. Look, just them two missed engagements. He's on the drift now, and I think there's plenty of potential elsewhere in that race. So I'm happy to lay the Parthenon.
The cricket is not streamed live. No. David Gower's umpiring. That's all I've got. Best bets, everybody. Best bets on day one. Mine is Lord Ridderford back in that handicap at 410. Steve?
Cirque in the 520.
And Lee?
I'll take Noble Dynasty in the 3 o'clock.
Perfect. Day two, we go. 1.5 handicap. Big price for yours, Lee, for a team that traditionally have a very good meeting. So I'll let you kick off with a likely pace angle in Attila the Honey.
Yeah, I just think continued improvement this season. Been running really well. Stepped up in trip and fairly bolted up a few starts back. Was probably Twitter's blow up of the week because people crabbed the performance maybe from the jockey and at Ascot a few days back there. But the team often turn horses around quickly. Like you say, a pace angle. Maybe can just slip the field and look, stays further. This trip is a winning trip for Attila the Honey, but stays further. I just thought of the prices. I thought it was too big to let go. So yeah, I'll take Attila the Honey.
Steve, you and I agree. Sorry with the I thought quite impressive winner last time, who will hopefully stay ahead of the mark.
Yeah, that's the plan with subsequent, isn't it? I know it's been small fields so far. Won a novice at Haydock, and then on handicap debut at Salisbury. That's the Bybury Cup, which is got a bit of a history, but probably wasn't the greatest race ever run this year. But subsequent did it really well, and I think in a bigger field would be suited better. Was kind of slowly away and was a little bit keen last time. Is like still a little bit inexperienced, and I think that he's got every chance at the top of the market.
Yeah, 1 and 3 in the race for Mrs. Fitchery Hay, but yeah, 1 on quick ground last time, having rushed out, having been slowly away. But I think he'll get a prominent ride out of 2 and should still be well ahead of 91, I would have thought, but it's an open 3-year-old contest. Okay, we're all done there. We move on to the 225. I'm sitting this out, the Oak Tree Stakes, so it was a little bit too difficult. Big price for you, Steve?
Yeah, big-ish. Stop the Cavalry. I was sort of torn between Rakia and Stop the Cavalry, but I like this Stop the Cavalry. I was impressed with the way that he did it, or she did it last time at Chester. They went very hard that day, and she travelled really, really well. That was 6 furlongs, and she picked up really well in the closing stages to make a successful handicap debut. She now steps up in grade into Group 3, but she's got the pedigree for it. She's by Lope de Vega, so she's definitely going to improve. You'd have thought going up to 7 furlongs for the first time, and Dan was a group winner as well, so she's got everything going for her. She's only run on soft ground so far. It was good to soft it at Chester last time, but she's got an action like she's going to love the quick ground. So 7 furlongs, quick ground, and step up in grade. I think she's been totally ignored in the betting because she's stepping up from a handicap. That's a dangerous thing to do. So, and the other thing is Rafe Beckett's horses are very rarely wound up first time, and that was a belated return to action 3 weeks ago. So Stop the Cavalry. I think she's 15.0, and she's got a cracking chance.
Lee?
Yeah, Kathmandu for me. I think getting the weight for age off some of these gets £10 off the likes of Briege, but ran solid races this season. 3rd in the Nell Gwen there, which has worked out fairly well. The second dance sequence went on to run 2nd in the Oaks. Spiritual, who was a long way beats, won a listed race since. There's a fair few come out and frank the form. Ran 2nd in the Poolash, the Group 1, only beaten ahead in that kick for home a bit too early, maybe over the mile. drops back down to the 7 furlongs now after running 5th in the John Pratt, and drops back down in grade as well. I thought it was a good run last time out, only beating 3.5 lengths behind the boys and the girls, and back against their own sex, and back in grade, back to 7 furlongs. I think it's going to be a good play. So yeah, Kathmandu for an informed team as well. Brian Meehan's had a couple of winners the last fortnight. Royal Ascot winner. He doesn't have many runners of late, but yeah, Kathmandu for me.
6.0. The Molecomb is up next. 3 different shouts going up. I'll kick us off with Celandine, who I was really impressed with when winning at Newmarket. There was then talk of coming back for the I can't remember what it's called now. Might be the Princess of Wales at the track anyway. But they didn't. They then went to France, and she showed shed loads of speed that day. I think the track will really suit. I'm a bit sort of anti a lot of the Colts form, and I think this filly should be really suited by coming back in distance, trying to dominate, which is what she tried to do last time, then ran out of puff. Quick ground's no problem, and I'd rather back her at 6.5 at the top of the market. She looks rapid. I think she surprised everyone by how much speed she's shown. Steve, who do you like?
Yeah, there's some really quick horses in here, and I don't think that means it's going to set up for something coming from off the pace, because I think they'll just go flat out, and whoever is fast enough and to keep going the long enough, it'll win the race. And I'm hoping that's Mr. Lightside. Mick Appleby won this race 12 months ago with Big Evs, and Mr. Lightside has looked really good and really quick in his last 2 starts. He tried 6 furlongs on his debut, and that didn't go to plan, but then won it Redcar sort of out of the blue. But the way he won it Nottingham, which is a quick 5 furlong track, and there was substance to the form as well. The second's one since of Charlie Appleby's, who also had form with some other decent horses like Aaron and Xanthi earlier on. So, and he kicked him aside. He just was too quick for them. And Mr. Lightside's also got the pedigree, because Mr. Lightside is a nephew of Requinto, who won this very race for going back a long time ago. I thought it might have been more recent than that. But yeah, so got the pedigree, got the speed, and I think he's got a good chance in what is obviously an open race.
Lee, big price.
Yeah, Tom, I'm a forgiving man. I'm going to forgive the last run of Aaron. I think can scrap that run, stopped very quickly at Royal Ascot. That was in the Coventry. But prior to that, on debut, had won a good race. It's been franked several times. The Acta was in behind in second, come out and won the race. Probably a bit disappointing since, but that's enlisted level in better grades. Halasan for Godolphin's come out and won since. Al Qudra was in 4th. That horse went and won at Ascot at the weekend gone. I thought it was a good race. If you can forgive that last run, I think it's just a huge price for Aaron. The Coles aren't in good form. That's probably the downside of it. But yeah, look, I'm a forgiving man. I'll scrap the last run, and hopefully that debut win can be franked again.
All right, around about 34.0. That's probably going to be your long shot, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's the Molecomb, the Sussex Stakes. I mean, if I had to stick one up, it'd probably be Henry Longfellow, actually. Probably not Rosalian, but there we are. I kept the faith of the Godolphin horse last time at Ascot, and he ran an absolute stinker. I've been round the houses. I'm sitting out. You two are with Rosalian. Lee.
Look, I think this is one of my strongest bets of the week, I would have said. I've kind of fell in love with the horse this season. Was a Group 1 winner last season at Longchamp, reappeared in the Guineas. The winner there, Notable Speech, has had 3 runs prior to that, and that was Rosalian's first run back, and then showed some blistering turn of foot to win the Irish Guineas. Again, showed that turn of foot that often helps in this type of race. This particular race, sorry. And yeah, look, that St. James's Palace to beat Henry Longfellow the way he did, I just thought it was great. Had to wait for the gaps, and hopefully I was thinking about like the likes of Cranford Cliffs, I think he's kind of in that mold. I think he'll power down the outside and hopefully show the race like one of the classics, I would have said.
Do you think if he'd had a run coming into the Guineas, he would have won?
I think I don't know. He was just picked off late on, wasn't he? I think maybe if he had had that run, he would have went a lot closer. I know that. I don't know if he would have turned the form around. The winner obviously had 3 runs. That's the difference. But yeah, I think he did need that run, and I thought he ran a huge race, and the form's been frank left, right, and centre on that Guineas as well. So yeah, I think it's all in for me in Rosalian.
Steve?
Yeah, I agree with Lee. He's just not my sort of price, but I think he'll win because I think he's the best 3-year-old miler in Europe, certainly. And I think that'll be proved on Wednesday afternoon. And the older horses don't actually inspire too much. I mean, it's quite a small field. I suppose you could give Malzoom a little bit of a chance, but I just think Rosalian's top class, and I think he'll show it again.
Steve, you got another bet for us on the day. Who is it?
Oh, I have, haven't I? I have to remind myself.
It's Xanthi.
Xanthi in the 520. Yeah, Xanthi's in the 7 furlong World Pool handicap, and I think it's got to have some sort of decent chance in there in an open race. And if I can just get I think you've put it in the wrong. It's in the conditions race, isn't it? God, I'm all over the place here. I've been stitched up by the producer here, haven't I?
This is a good segment. This is good.
I have been stitched. I was trying to buy myself time while the race loaded. I think the producer put the wrong time, or I might have put the wrong time up, but I'm claiming not. So this is a 2-year-old filly trained by Richard Hannon who won first time up and then ran reasonably well in the Queen Mary. This is only a condition stakes, and the last 3 winners of this race all ran in the Queen Mary, and Xanthi ran probably better than most of those. And I just think that there's a big question mark over the likely favourite Koto de Casa on the ground, having thrived on soft last time. So I'm going to take that one on with Xanthi for Richard Hannon. And I apologise for saying it was in the wrong race and that, but it's the start of a long week. So
it is.
Catch me Saturday.
Good start. Lee, who's your other bet on the day?
No other bets on day 2. Oh, sorry, Mum's Tipple in the last. I've stuck Mum's Tipple in the last. Yeah, I just think still got a good win in him. I think is well handicapped now. Not been shown much this season. I just hopefully can get a good price for Mum's Tipple. Hannon's done so well here at Goodwood as well, but yeah, probably not one for maximum faith. But again, another I couldn't let slip away at the prices. So yeah, Mum's Tipple I've took
9.0 for Mum's Tipple in the last. A few of you have asked where you can get an update of all the selections that myself, Lee, and Steve have put up, and you can do it on Matchbook Insights. That'll be up later on. So insights.matchbook.com. There'll be a full recap of all the bets that are going up in this Goodwood preview. Okay. Long shots, Matchbook Zero long shot. Matchbook Zero goes live at 10 a.m. each day. You're most likely to be getting best odds because there's 0 margin and 0 commission. So head there for a win-only bet. Mine's Crown of India in the opening race. Another Fitchery Hay horse. Think still could have a little bit of room off that mark of 81. It's a handicap debut. They stuck the hood on last time. I quite like a hood off angle as a rule, and yeah, could easily have a bit more left. He's about 19.0, so a fair old price. Lee, your Matchbook Zero long shot, have we covered it already?
Yeah, Aaron, I'll take 34.0. I think that's a massive price if you can forgive the last run. And like I say, you've got to have a little bit of forgiveness and forgive one bad run at least, I would have said.
Steve?
Stop the Cavalry, 225. I think it's got certainly the pedigree and the profile to step up to Group 3 level. I do apologise to our producer. It was predictably me who got the time wrong in that previous race.
We all knew that.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd
That's fine.
Underline it.
Good stuff. Best bets, everybody. So mine is Celandine in the Mulcombe, the 3 o'clock. Steve, your best bet?
That's Xanthi in the 4:55. I think she's got an excellent chance.
Lee, your best bet?
Rosalien, I think I'll just go and win it. 3:35, the Sussex Stakes.
There you go. All right, I'm on board with you two now. It's a Rosalien. Job done. Guys, thank you very much indeed. Thanks to everyone that's contributed. Lee, welcome and thanks. Look forward to having you back. Steve, I will see you tomorrow. Padded up. Embarrassing light blue helmet on, because that's you. And I very much look forward to it. Thanks, everyone. Check out our podcast coming your way tomorrow. That's for Galway, 11 o'clock. We've got another one on Thursday at 11 o'clock. That'll be for the remainder of Goodwood. So it's a busy week between all the G's, Goodwood and Galway. Hope you back lots of winners on the downs. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Cheers.